Religion or riot, satanic mass controversy in Kansas. This is a little wild. Okay, in a charged and dramatic confrontation in the Kansas Statehouse. So this is like the capital of Kansas, like where they do their, the Senate floor and all that stuff. The Black Mass event organized by the Satanic Grotto escalated into chaos, leading to multiple arrests and violent altercations. Michael Stewart, the group's president, deliberately defied government restrictions by attempting to perform the ritual indoors, following an earlier provocative act where he desecrated what appeared to be a consecrated host on the Capitol steps. This act was a bold statement by the Satanic Grotto to challenge what they perceive as religious favoritism by the state towards Christian groups, emphasizing their call for secularism and equal treatment under the law under for all belief systems. As Stewart began his invocation inside, tempers flared when counterprotester Marcus Schroeder attempted to seize Stewart's script. He had this like paper in his hand, prompting Stewart to strike him in the face. This incited a scuffle that ended in law enforcement swiftly tackling and detaining Stewart amidst a backdrop of shouts and turmoil. The scene escalated further when other attendees tried to continue the ritual, leading to additional arrests for unlawful assembly. This incident not only highlighted the stark divisions over religious expression, but also ignited a broader debate on the use of public spaces for such provocative displays. So, let's give a breakdown of what happened because there's actually like a lot going on here. In fact, do I have the photos? One second. Let me find this article that actually has a lot of photos so I can kind of give a better blow by blow
We also
of
have a
what
video.
happened. Um, so oh, come on, which one was it? Oh, please.
Wait,
Wait,
what?
wait, 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 wait. Okay, here we go. Here we go. One second. So basically, let me give a breakdown of what happened. So the Satanic Grotto, which is a Satanist group um in Kansas, was basically planning to do a religious invocation or a black mass inside the Kansas state capitol. And there was a uh like a politician in Kansas who did not give the permission for them to do that inside the state capitol. Like I can't remember if it was the governor or some other level of politician, but basically there was someone that specifically said you're not allowed to do this inside. So they started with doing this whole black mass outside the Capitol. And so let me show some photos. Okay. Wait, let me remove this, put this up. Okay, cool. And okay, let me zoom in here. This is not very big. So sorry. This is a guy doing some heavy LARPing. Right here we have some heavy Christian LARPing.
Wow.
Like going full Knights Templar outside the Kansas Statehouse against these Satanists. Okay, like this is high drama right here. This is high drama. And I appreciate it because I know this guy went and probably made this his profile picture. Like, God, that's an epic photo. You know what I mean? Like kneeling. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, full days. Vote. Uh, so, anyways, so I'll get like kind of give a what is LARPing? LARPing stands for live action role playing. Okay, so I'm basically saying
Mhm.
this person is like doing fantasy role play. So let's give a breakdown of this event here. So it started with this event outside. So we see all these various Christian groups, Catholic groups doing a huge, massive showing against the Satanists who were there to perform a black mass. And for those who are not aware, the Satanist black mass is kind of like a Satanist reinterpretation of a Catholic mass. Um and this is not the Satanists that believe in Satan as an actual deity. These are the Satanists that are like
Yeah.
atheistic.
Can
Um,
we clarify that to people, because some people are new here and don't understand that, because like it's like some people are asking how could you be a Satanist. Just to be clear, guys, the Satanists in America, they're not actually believers of Satan. They just most of them are, a lot of them are atheists. The whole point of the Satanist stuff is to fight for secularism. So in the United States, whenever religion tries to get involved in places where they shouldn't get involved because of church state separation, then because a lot of Christians are sensitive about satanic elements, they come as Satanists, and they're like, well, it's the freedom of religion, so you should allow us here too. Just so to point, like, if you want religion in politics or in school or anywhere else, then you should allow all religion, including ours. So this is a move, the push for secularism, to be like, either take your religion out of these areas or every religion should be allowed in. But these so-called Satanists don't actually believe in Satan. That's the whole point of what they're doing.
I mean, there
Yeah.
are people that do believe in Satan, but they're not this group. There's a
Yes,
difference between the
they're not
Satanic
this group.
Church and then the
And
the Sa no, it's the Church of Satan or whatever, and then the Satanic Temple,
and
the TST.
temple.
So the
The
TST,
actual people who
yeah,
believe in Satan,
are the
they
church.
are yeah, and they're very few in number.
They're
The actual
Luciferians.
major
Yeah.
yeah, yes, the Luciferians. By the way, has been very effective. Like, I know some of you religious people don't like Satan. Satan, first of all, is
That's the
awesome. The
point.
character of Satan. Yeah, that. But the whole point is like the fact that religious people are like, ew, ew, we don't like Satan. If you think this is vulgar and you don't like it, well, that's why they're so effective. Because Christians want to go into school, they want to go into politics, and because they're so disgusted by Satanism, if any laws passes that says religion is allowed here, they're basically opening the door to something that they're so disgusted by. And that's why they're like, oh, this is how you teach Christians how important it is to have secularism. Right.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Armin has changed. Could it be Satan?
Satan. Satan, by the way, is us, like the character of Satan in the Bible is so relatable. Like, I don't know why people don't like him. He was the first humanist. But yeah,
No.
go on.
Yeah, no, I can tell Torah Worldwide is like a theist because he's like Satan is bad even for
Mm.
atheists. It's a bad idea. And we're like, no, we don't
No,
believe in him at all. But
Torah,
anyways,
we
that's
are
besides the point.
uh, for us, we are, when we don't believe in these stories, okay, these are fictional characters, right? So we can
Yeah.
actually reinterpret them in any way we want.
Like
Okay,
it's
so
like the same as a
we cannot be
like a
discussed.
comic book character to me.
Yeah, we cannot be disgusted by fictional characters. And even if they're, if you some, so for example, just like Maleficent could be bad, you could do readaptation of the story that now she's the good person, right? Like, just like Disney, that she was bad,
Mhm.
now she's good. So given that it's fiction, you could just make it whatever you want. Like, these are not
Yeah, to us, this
set
is on the
stories
same
that
level
based
as
in
the
reality.
flying spaghetti monster. But the
Right,
Satanist
yes.
branding is helpful because of the reaction it gets versus the flying spaghetti
Yes.
monster is more silly. But the Pastafarians do cool secularism stuff, but it's different. Anyways, let's continue. My favorite thing about this, I don't know if you can see this one photo, but there's this guy in the back that has a sign that says Satan has no rights.
I mean, they're
Satan has
playing
no
into their
rights.
hand. This reaction that they're doing, these Christians think that they're fighting these Satanists, but the Satanists actually wanted this reaction,
Yeah.
because the whole reason why their activism works is because Christians get pissed off. So
Yeah.
these Christians are actually playing right into their hands. But yeah, go on.
So this person has a sign saying like proud pagan, it's like, hey, if I'm a pagan, like I also have a right to be doing my religious ceremonies in this
Right.
state house as much as you do. This person is making his message clear with little separate church from state sign. I love this one. Sacrilege is not free speech.
I
Yes,
mean,
it is.
technically, it is. Yes, it is.
Um, oh, this guy is dressed up literally as a camel.
Why a camel?
And
Oh.
here's the thing. These Christians, oh, he's showing his ass literally. They have a right to protest out here against what these Satanists are doing as
Mm.
as much as anyone else. I'm like, they are fully within their right to be protesting these Satanists. Here's the main guy
Yes.
who is the Satanist. And I just love the Satanists for looking exactly how you would expect a Satanist to look. You can't see in this photo, but he has a giant tattoo on the side of his face.
Right.
Um so
Okay.
here are all these photos. So here's where things got very controversial. So as part of their Black Mass, Stewart here had a Eucharist, and he claimed that this is a consecrated Eucharist. And this is very, very controversial for Catholics because for people who do not know, like desecrating a Eucharist is basically the Catholic version of burning the Quran. Like it is
Really?
it is so severe to desecrate a Eucharist. In fact, intentional desecration of a
Can you
Eucharist,
explain what is the Eucharist? Too? It's Jesus's body.
it's the little so for people that don't know, I
Cracker.
mean, if you're some other Christian denominations do or do not do this, but if you're Catholic, the apex of the mass is that you have the little wafers of unleavened bread, which is the host, and the priest does a blessing over the host and the wine. And as the priest does this blessing, this bread and wine becomes consecrated, which means in the Catholic belief, you believe in transubstantiation, which means that that wine and bread literally becomes the blood and flesh of
Oh,
Christ. And
not
this is a
figuratively. If you
literally,
think it's figuratively the body of Christ, then you
you're
have
not a
that's
Catholic.
sacrilege. You're not a
Yeah.
Catholic. So it's literally the body of Christ. The
Yeah.
crackers, Jesus crackers, are actually the body of Christ.
And that it is a blessing to be able to receive the body of Christ into your body, which is why traditionally you should have gone to confession before receiving the Eucharist so that you are in a state that is hopefully like free from sin to be able to
Which
receive that into yourself. It's a whole thing.
which sounds demonic. But by the way, let me like the people who are like, oh my god, Satanists are so vulgar. The other side thinks that they're literally eating the body and blood of their god, right? Like if you ask if people didn't know about Christianity and somebody came and introduced them and be like, ask which side is the demonic one, they're like, oh yeah, definitely the side that is saying this is literally the blood of my god and I'm drinking him and I'm eating and I'm biting his flesh, like like okay, so if you think the satanic part is vulgar, like isn't the Christian side more vulgar? But yeah, go on.
But it's supposed to be this profound experience. In fact, people have these experiences of perceiving Christ and having these miracles happen to them with the Eucharist and this whole thing. So the whole idea is that if you are desecrating a consecrated Eucharist, you are literally desecrating the body of Christ. So for a Catholic, like this really is like their version of burning the Quran. Except they're just not going to come kill you for it. um so basically this guy claimed that he had a consecrated host because the whole thing is that if in a Catholic mass, you can go get that. And then, so because they're distributing it out to everyone in the mass. So theoretically, it wouldn't be that hard to obtain a consecrated host that's been consecrated by a priest. Now, the thing is that these Catholics freaked out when they heard rumors that he had this. And there was a bishop or something that was even maybe threatening to sue him because this happened before this event even happened. Maybe threatening to sue
Hmm.
him, saying that consecrated hosts are considered sacred species and Catholics have a legal ownership of the sacred species of the mass. So they're saying if you have this consecrated host, like this is our property essentially, and that you've like taken this from
The
us. It's
cracker, they're
it's a
like
whole thing.
the
Yeah,
cracker, they're like, oh,
yeah.
that's our property, they stole our cracker.
Look into the legal right of the sacred species. It's a whole thing. So it's a whole thing. So basically, they started to freak out
They
about this.
stole
Like,
our cracker.
yeah, it's like
What the
consecrated host, and then they were like, "How did you get this?" And Stewart said that you can get these crackers like ordered in mass. Like the priest ordered them online somewhere, but then they bless them, and then apparently he's claimed that he had consecrated it himself. You know what I mean? Which from a Catholic perspective, like he cannot consecrate the Eucharist, so it was not a consecrated Eucharist, this whole thing. But they thought that it was.
Wow.
So in this photo, you can see him holding it up here as they're doing their black mass, and in the black mass, they're like kind of cursing Jesus, like talking about driving the nails through his hands, the whole thing. And then this
Wow.
guy comes over and tries to tackle it out of him. So this guy
Oh,
rushes over and tries to because you can see that Stewart here, it dropped the Eucharist and tried to stomp it into the ground, and this guy is, like, trying to stop him from doing this. So this
say
guy comes
I'll
out
save
there.
you, Jesus.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah,
I was trying to save Jesus.
yeah, so this
What
guy comes
happens
over,
if
and
I
then Stewart is, like,
oh,
swinging on this guy, it turns into a whole thing, and then that guy who came out of nowhere gets tackled away because he, like, broke the police barrier that was all around this thing. It was a whole thing. So this is everything that happened outside. So then they're being interviewed, okay, whatever, and then eventually they decide, okay, so we are going to take this inside. So because
oh.
again, there was a politician that had specifically said, "No, you're not allowed to do this inside." So that's why they did it outside. So at some point they end up, oh, here are more Christians praying.
Wait.
There was a Catholic
Mm.
priest over here with his frankincense.
Suzy, before you go, do you know these idiots just signaled to the whole world their soft spot? Like they tried to save Jesus. Do you think you could save all these crackers? You just signaled to the whole world how to get on your nerves and how to offend you. You just invited, like you thought you just saved that cracker, but you just put so many more crackers at risk by doing that because now everybody sees how to get on your nerves.
Oh, well, this is not a
Therefore,
new thing. Like if you desecrate a
yeah, but now
Eucharist
more of us
in
know.
Catholic law, you can be automatically excommunicated, like instantly. This
Wow.
has been well
What
established. Like,
happens
oh,
if I take a cracker and crucify the cracker?
yeah,
Like I get a small.
if it's a
What can I get a
consecrated
small
host,
cross?
yeah.
Okay,
Well,
so put the.
you were not a Catholic, so you can't be excommunicated, but you would be committing
I know,
sacrilege.
but is that? I just like if this is the body of Jesus, can I crucify him again? Can I crucify the cracker? And that would be considered, anyways. But go on.
Yeah. So, anyways, at some point they end up going inside the state capitol because they're still allowed to enter it, right? And the highway patrol is like talking to him, probably giving him the rundown, like, hey, please don't pull some shit. And so he's like walking through the state capitol, and over here he's like talking about some specific like monument or something. And anyways, by the time he reaches the rotunda, he this is where he actually does violate what he was specifically permitted to do. So at this point he goes into the rotunda and actually does begin like a recitation of his satanic verses. Um and you can see his little hail Satan sign right here. And at this point, this 21-year-old kid comes over here. Oh, we have a Christian holding the crucifix up. Uh, Comes over here and tries to snatch the script out of his hand. And so then when that
Wow, it's getting
happens,
violent. Ooh.
Stuart punches him in the face twice. At which point
Oh
he gets
shit.
arrested.
But he was
Uh,
attacked first. He was attacked
yeah.
first.
And as he's getting arrested, he's shouting "Hail Satan." So
Oh.
it just devolves into full-blown chaos and pandemonium. Um, and this guy again, this dude is full cringe over hero. He's got his Pepe Keck shit. Um, Again with the role play. How you can pretend to be like some super spiritual person and then
Pepe.
be into Pepe Keck shit is just insane to me. It's like the opposite of spiritualism.
Pepe.
Um
Pepe's Catholic. You don't know that.
Yeah, so
Says Jesus.
the Christians are out here and they're having their thing, totally within their right to do. I support that. And then there was this whole Catholic mass that happened across the street at this cathedral. Um all this stuff. So anyways, this is turned into this full controversy surrounding is sacrilege hate speech? Is this hate speech? How can we allow this in the public? How can we allow sacrilege in the public? Um, this isn't allowed. How could we do this? But da 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 da, and all this controversy. What was so funny though, I was reading this one article and they were interviewing a protester, and one of the protesters said, um, this was so crazy to me. Uh, these sorts of things need to be brutally tamped down. Let's set an example. I think the United States should be an explicitly Christian nation. If you want to be something other than Christian, I think that's fine to an extent. I think the non-Christians should have to pay an extra tax.
What the
So there's
fuck?
this dude. You're saying, "Oh my god, this is so unacceptable." Ratatatata. And then it is then like, we need Christian jizya. Like non-Christians,
What
you
the
need to pay an extra tax. We need
that's a,
Christian
yeah,
jizya.
that's jizya. That's jizya. You're right.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Listen,
So
that
I'm
sounds
like,
Islamic.
and then they sit here and wonder why the Satanists do what they do. They're like, how could these people do this?
But by the way,
Maybe
people,
because
huh.
you want to impose a tax on non-Christians. What the fuck?
By the way,
Sorry.
Torah Worldwide was surprised that there's satanic verses, so I showed the satanic Bible that I have, and then she was also surprised there's a satanic Bible. What the hell? Can I, Susie? Can I show them the 11 commandments of the satanic verses, or
Yeah, but
let me know when to show them?
does the Satanic Temple subscribe to the Levian version?
No, I don't know actually. I don't know. I don't
Because the
know. But there
Levans
is.
are the ones that actually believe in Satan.
No, 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 no.
The
This
Levans?
guy,
Right.
I actually watched interviews with this guy. He says that this is all symbolic.
But
Or was it someone else?
is it in a Western esotericism kind of way? Because there actually is an element of
But
belief
he said
in
he's an
Western
atheist.
esotericism, but it's very mystical and symbolic. Sorry, continue.
I I don't know, but I think I watched an interview from this very same guy, and he said like, yeah, we're atheists, and
Mhm. Mhm.
so I don't know. Maybe that was an interview but let me know when I can show you the 11
Go for it.
commandments. Oh, I can do it now. Okay,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
let's let's put this.
Is it
Remove
the
yours and
7
put the.
fundamental tenets? Yeah, okay, then
Yeah,
the
so this is
Satanic Temple does
so
follow these.
okay,
Wait,
okay.
actually, no, these are
So let's
different
just
than this. Sorry, go ahead.
the 11 satanic rules of the earth. It says, do not give opinions. Let's see if they're any good. Okay. I mean, it's good that at least compared to the 10 commandments, the first three doesn't start with just obsessing over God's jealousy problem. So that's good. So the first one, it says, do not give opinions or advice unless you are asked. I mean, I don't agree with that. Sometimes it's okay to give advice, even if you're not asked. Do not tell your troubles to.
Uh, as someone
Yeah.
who's your friend, that's kind of a defining personality trait.
Yeah, yeah.
There's so
Yeah.
many times
I
where
mean,
I'm
it's
trying to come to Armin with an emotional problem, and he's like giving me an opinion. I'm like, please shut up and listen.
yeah. Yes, yes. So I don't agree with the first one, but it's not like terrible. Second one says, do not tell your troubles to others unless you are sure they want to hear them. Well, I don't know how could you be 100% sure. Three, when in another's home, show them respect or else do not go there. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. And number four saying, if a guest in your home annoys you, treat them cruelly and without mercy. Okay, so that's fucked up. That's the first fucked up commandment. Do not make sexual advances unless you are given the mating signal. I mean, I don't know what mating signals are, but this seems like to be pro consent. Like, I don't know, like what the mating signal means. Is it just like consent? But that's fine. That's good. It's anti grape commandment. And then it's number six says, do not take that which does not belong to you unless it is a burden to the other person and they cry out to be relieved. Okay, so that just seems anti theft. That's good. Number 7, acknowledge the okay, this is bullshit. Okay, this one is a acknowledge the power of magic if you have employed it successfully to obtain your desires. If you deny the power of magic after having called upon it with success, you will lose all you have obtained. Okay, that's weird. Number 8, do not complain about anything to which you need not subject yourself. Okay, that sounds stoic. That's very stoic. Number 9, do not harm your young children. That's good. That's better than the Bible. Okay, that's right there is better. I mean, I do not endorse all of this, but that right there makes this whole thing better than the Bible. Number 10, do not kill non-human animals unless you are attacked or for your food. Okay, so animal rights are here. That's good. And number 11, when walking in open territory, bother no one. If someone bothers you, ask them to stop. If you do not stop, destroy them. Okay, that escalates from 0 to 100 quite fast. Okay,
No,
so
but this is not the tenets of the Satanic Temple. This is the
okay, but
Levians. They're
this is
different.
the Levians. Okay,
Yeah,
but yeah,
here are
we
the
have
ones of
different
the
versions
Satanic
of these.
Temple. This is on their own website.
Okay, okay, what's the Satanic Temple? Bring
Okay,
them
wait,
up.
wait. God damn it! I'm so frustrated by SteamYard. Okay, here
Yeah.
there are 7 fundamental tenets. One. So again, this is representative of the actual
The Satanic.
group involved with this, right? Which is separate than what
Okay,
Armin
okay.
just showed. One should strive to act with compassion and empathy towards all creatures in accordance with reason. Emphasis on reason.
Hmm.
The struggle for
Okay.
justice is ongoing and a necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions. One's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. So this has to do with their pro-abortion stance. Just for reference. Um, I wonder if this would extend to circumcision. It should. Um, the freedoms of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend, to willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego one's own. Beliefs should
Hmm.
conform to one's best scientific understanding of the world. One should take never to distort scientific fact to fit one's beliefs. Interesting. Um, People are fallible. If one makes a mistake, one should do one's best to rectify it and resolve any harm that might have been caused. And then finally, every tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility in action and thought. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word.
Okay, so what I had was Levian Satanism. What you have is the Satanic Temple Satanism,
Yeah.
right? Okay,
Yeah.
yours is better. So
Yeah.
this is much nicer than the one I had. Okay.
Yeah.
So these people that showed up there, they're adhering to this
Hmm.
list. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's not bad. That's a good list. I don't like the second one that much because justice is such a vague term and it could be
Hmm.
used for you to uphold. Like that sounds like too progressive for me. It seems like anti institutions for the sake of your weird definition. Like any definition of justice could be mean, and justice to me could mean justice something else to someone else,
Hmm.
and it just seems too revolutionary against stability, you know. So
Yeah.
I don't I'm yeah, so I don't like the
No, I
second
believe
one.
institutions are very
But
important.
yes, I like
This is coming
institution. I
from
like
someone who has
institution.
had my faith in institutions kind of crippled lately, but I in firm contention with myself. But that's a principle. That's a different
Tora
story,
is
you know?
Tora Warman is enjoying this. She has like we have like introduced a whole new world to her. Okay,
Yeah.
so she's like,
Yeah.
this is fun. Yeah.
Yeah, their
Yeah.
whole tagline for the Satanic Temple is empathy, reason, advocacy. Um,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So Kenny's saying I interpret that differently, more like don't let institutions limit justice. Guys, I don't so I have a problem with the word justice. I feel like we should focus more on freedom than justice because everybody is pro
Mm,
justice. Everybody is pro justice. They just define justice differently. Terrorists are pro justice. They just
mhm,
it's a very vague terminology, term that is could be used for good and evil. But and I just think that freedom is a better value to fight for, because a free society progresses in the right way. People Justice is an excuse to get people for a small group of people to misdirect society sometimes in a direction that actually harms more people. A free society will actually figure out the right path itself through, a Darwinian progression model, without us needing a few better than the rest of us people to define justice for us. So I think it's always better to fight for freedom more than fighting for justice.
mhm. So me saying I support free speech, but most Satanists are just contrarian. Well, it's within their right to be.
Contrarian, yes. Free speech means you get to be contrarian.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Um, oh my gosh, we just got a super chat. This is so sweet. Red Tygon is saying 15 shekels. Thank you. Saying you're my first YouTube membership in super chat. Oh, that's so
Oh
sweet.
wow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Saying don't forget to support Atheist Republic and like, yes, please like everyone. They are important source of info, even if they have bad takes sometimes. Hey, well, much like the
Oh,
Satanists, we agree that humans are fallible, including ourselves.
yes, thank you. Yes, yes. And Torah is saying that was Armin's daily musatos. Yes, thank you for the Zionist support. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yes. So let's go through the reactions on social media, and then we have some super chats, and then I
Oh,
want to
what
save
about the
enough.
video? You gave us a.
Oh wait,
You don't
it's
want to
just
play the
like
video? Oh, the fight.
people giving prayers and stuff. We actually, I want to save
Okay.
time to go through this failed assassination
Okay.
for our
Okay.
last story.
Okay. 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 Let's do that. So this one.
um, saying, what do you expect from a Satanist? If you look up pictures online, they have the most unattractive women out of all the religions.
Out of all the religions. Okay. Okay.
Ah,
Oh my god. What-
I just find that so funny.
okay.
Like,
All right.
screw dealing
Oh,
with any arguments or substance. They got ugly
your
chicks.
women are ugly. So your argument is valid. I checked your woman and they'd be ugly.
Oh my gosh, this
All right.
comment is so funny. The guy in the black, meaning the person who was one of the guys interfering, merely did what anyone would do if you found someone in possession of something you hold extremely dear to you, such as an abducted child, an expensive auto, or someone squatting in your home. Okay.
Wow.
First of all, you don't understand property rights if this is your stance. Second of all, would you hold this same position for some maybe a Christian preacher like Hatun Tash, who has Qurans in her possession that she has drilled holes into that she gets attacked for holding in speaker's corner? Are you going to keep that same energy for a Christian preacher criticizing Islam like Hatun Tash? I would like to know.
Mm,
Are you going to be consistent?
my God. I mean, it is the body of Jesus. Technically, this way we could actually kidnap Jesus and hold him as a hostage in our basement. I could just basically tell people I have Jesus locked up in my basement, you know? And can I get ransom for that? Anyways, if that's how they feel about it. Okay, here.
Um uh wait, scroll down. This person is saying Satan does have rights. This is America.
I mean, technically, Satan did fight for our rights according to the story. He was
Mhm.
like, humans are being chained up by gods. I mean,
Yeah.
Satan to Christianity
We
is
I'm s
what Prometheus. Oh, go.
I'm sorry, we really need to go through the super chats.
Okay, just one sentence. Satan to Christianity is what Prometheus is to Greek mythology. They both try to liberate humans from gods. Anyways,
Mhm.
good. Let's do the super chats.
Okay, so Gaijin gave a super chat. Thank you, Gaijin, saying, in my fan fiction, Satan becomes the light bringer Bodhisattva and guides demons to enlightenment, as all sapient entities may do so. Gaijin, if you're not writing a novel, you better be. This
What are
man
you
is
doing? Yeah,
creative.
right.
So creative. Gingosaurus, thank you for the shekels, is saying, how do you desecrate it? So it's after the host is consecrated, it's like everything that could be a misuse of it. So sometimes there are instances where Catholics may be in mass and they basically desecrate it on accident. Like controversies happen where maybe they like trip and fall and then it gets like damaged on the ground or something. Like that would still count. So it's like as soon as it's consecrated and handed out to the audience, it needs to be consumed immediately. And after the mass, the priest consumes anything that's left over, and there's like only a certain amount of stuff that's kept in the tabernacle, which is like locked away. It's a whole thing. So basically, it's like any destruction of the consecrated flesh of Christ. Um, but this guy attempted to just stomp it on the ground. Gaijin gave another super chat saying, if I was the People's Republic of China and I wanted to persecute people, I'd pass an anti Shenfangia law stating that all deities are loved and respected in China, not to be eaten. Well, for the Catholic Church to work in China, they actually had to basically create they basically had to create state-approved Catholicism. So it's like Catholicism with Chinese characteristics. I'm not even kidding.
Mhm.
So I'm actually curious in how they had to adjust the mass for that. Um, and and then we read the super chat by Red Tygon. Thank you once again for your first super chat. That's so sweet.
Yeah. Just I just quickly wanted to mention that people in the chat were mentioning apparently there were some attacks in Israel, and Jean, please, and the rest of the people there in Israel, please stay safe. Do you know who makes the most amazing, gorgeous, and other adjectives that I can't use here on YouTube, blasphemous art ever? We do! And for some reason, we are giving it away for free. Download them now using the link in the description before we change our mind.